This is CBC Here and Now.
I'm delighted to have an opportunity to tell it the way it is and to get out and to answer some of the criticism.
Danny Williams says Muskrat Falls is short-term pain for long-term gain.
The former premier wraps up 2 days of testimony at the inquiry. Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Debbie Cooper. Danny Williams wrapped up his time on the stand this afternoon at the Muskrat Falls inquiry.
Today's questioning focused on the financial risk of the project.
Here now's Katie Breen joins us now live. Katie, today they spoke about numbers. Did Williams ever set a maximum price for the project, a price where the project stops making financial sense?
No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't qualify it. He said he's out of the loop now and not privy to internal documents, but he maintains that the project was worth it then and it's still worth it now. At the inquiry today, Williams said Muskrat is about short-term pain for long-term gain. He said when he was in charge, the province was at a place of momentum and that it was the right time to act. Of course, he said there was a risk to the eventual reward, but the province's momentum never clouded his view about the project's viability. He doesn't like that there's cost overruns, but he said he didn't lie about the financial reality to push the project forward.
That you or your government did anything to perhaps inappropriately weigh the balance in favour of Muskrat Falls as opposed to the isolated island option, by understating costs perhaps?
You know the answer to that. I'm not going to sit here and say we inappropriately understate a cost, because we certainly, absolutely, categorically did not.
The last thing spoken about today was Nalcor and autonomy. Critics say the Crown Corporation isn't under enough scrutiny, but Williams says Nalcor was accountable to government. He said Nalcor officials kept him in the loop, pointing out project hurdles and risks. But according to Commission Counsel, there was no evidence of government studies into Nalcor cost estimates. Williams says he's not concerned about that.
You know, there's lots of briefing notes on file. There's lots of areas where, virtually every government department has looked at this project. And as well, Nalcor is a Crown Corporation. Nalcor is owned by the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. Nalcor is an extension, it's an arm of government. So, this has gotten lots of scrutiny. So I'm quite comfortable with that.
Of course, Williams stepped down before the project started. The premier who sanctioned the project, Kathy Dunderdale, she's still scheduled to appear. She's last on the list, expected to take the stand in late November. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Katie Breen for Here and Now.
It doesn't seem right. I mean, this is Labrador. It's not Quebec. It shouldn't be part of Quebec's map.
They know it's there. They know it's incorrect. They just refuse to recognize it.
An historic election in Quebec last night also resurfaced an historic debate with our province. The controversy over the Quebec-Labrador border. Jacob Barker takes a closer look at the boundary just ahead on Here and Now. Well, the battle between DJ Composites and Unifor headed into the courtroom this morning, and that's where the company won a preliminary victory in their effort to get the picket line shut down. Here Now's Garrett Berry was at the hearing and is back at the picket line right now. So Garrett, what happened today?
Well, the big news for the locked out workers and their supporters that you can still see behind me is that the picket here is allowed to stay for at least one more day. Justice Donald Burridge heard the arguments today in court, and then afterwards he said he was not yet prepared to send in his sheriff's officers to this picket line and start handing out papers and maybe even start arresting people. But he said he is reserving the right to do so in the future. And he has also decided to have some union officials come into court next week. It was a preliminary hearing this morning, all about whether a bigger hearing should be held next week. A lawyer for DJ Composites called the union's conduct flagrant and vigilante justice, arguing there is more than enough evidence Unifor is breaking the rules. He said look no further than this fence the union has put up all around the company plant. The union's lawyers replied that DJ relied too heavily on media reports and not solid evidence. He also said that some evidence against individuals was flimsy. But Burridge wasn't convinced. He gave DJ a preliminary victory and ordered 3 union officers to court. That includes the union's national president. He also hinted that he was prepared to go even further, suggesting he might rule that the union's blockade was criminal conduct. Now, lawyers for all sides will be back in the courtroom next week, next Thursday. That's about 8 days away, and of course that gives lots of time on both sides of this contract dispute. That call between the Premier and DJ Composites was expected to happen today. Now, Unifor, for their part, says they're not going to make any further comment right now about the ruling that was handed down today, but we had heard from the national president yesterday. He said the end to this picket and the end of the blockade is not going to be found inside a courtroom. He says it will only come through a contract settlement between the company and their locked out workers. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Garrett Berry in Gander.
Well, it was a lively scene outside of Prince of Wales Collegiate in St. John's this afternoon. Dozens of students were outside the high school protesting new parking rules. Those students are facing one-day suspensions after staging the protest. They're pushing back after the school changed its policy, drastically cutting back on as many as 50 allocated parking spaces. The school board says it's a safety measure brought in after a bear spray attack 2 weeks ago that sent one student to hospital and injured several others.
Just because of the fight that happened, like the bear mace stuff, like people were sprayed and then now all of a sudden there's no parking.
I've been in the school now 3 years and we've been out there the whole 3 years, and the only problem we had is the bear mace incident, and that's not really our fault.
I don't think it really matters because, like, no matter where they're going to have us parking, we're still going to do what we do, you know what I mean? Like, it's still going to happen no matter where we go, whether or not there's cameras or not, because they're cars, you know what I mean? We can move them.
There's not really enough parking in general for people in the back lot anyways. It's always full and there's still people without parking, but they're taking that away now, and then that's even less parking, and there's probably about 80 students who drive, and there's only 26 parking spots that they're giving us.
Around the school, everybody's ratted by, you can't even park in the back parking lot. Like, I don't even got a car, to be honest with you, but my buddy do, and he drives here every morning. Where's he supposed to park over here? Like, this is going to be packed here now shortly, but when everybody comes and parks their car, like, it's just not right.
Newfoundlanders and Labradorians spend more money on gambling than any of the Atlantic provinces, but according to the Atlantic Lotto Corporation, it's still not enough. That's because ours is the only province that did not hit its profit target for 2018. Atlantic Lotto projected $138.4 million in profit for this year. Newfoundland and Labrador came in at about $4.6 million short. Atlantic Lottery says the economy is to blame and saw similar trends in Alberta and Saskatchewan, where disposable income has dipped. But that's not to say business isn't good. The province still outspent the rest in total dollars, with the majority of pull-tab tickets, 70%, being sold here.
Well, in the weather forecast, we have flurries to start the day in Labrador West. Tomorrow, some showers moving in for the southwest coast of the island tomorrow afternoon, but another nice day coming for central and the east. I'll break it all down coming up.
A historic election result in Quebec. The established parties are out, and an upstart party that's only a few years old captured a huge majority.
For the first time since half a century, neither the Liberals nor the PQ are in office. Myself and my team will govern for all Quebecers.
That is Quebec's next premier. François Legault is the leader of the right-leaning Coalition Avenir Québec. His party stormed to victory, sending the incumbent Liberals to a record defeat. And the Parti Québécois suffered a crushing loss as well, losing official party status.
We will focus on three clear priorities in the weeks ahead. One, will ensure a stronger economy, better paying jobs, and will put money back in Quebecers' pocket. Second, we will improve our education system. And three, we will provide better health services. And I want to assure the rest of Canada of my will to build a stronger Quebec within Canada in a win-win relationship.
The CAQ won 74 seats, capturing ridings in almost every part of the province. The Liberals were reduced to just 32 seats. The left-leaning Québec Solidaire made big gains, capturing 10 seats. And the Souverainist Parti Québécois won just 9, 3 shy of official status. Now, if you look closely at the map used by the Quebec government, you might notice something is a little off. The election map used by Elections Quebec, as well as media, CBC included, includes portions of our province. It seems Quebec has long refused to recognize its official border with Labrador. Jacob Barker has more.
Well, it really is an annoyance that extends back over 90 years for people here in Labrador. The maps that extend far beyond the federally recognized borders of Quebec. It's a decision that was made by a Privy Council way back in 1927, put in place to settle a land dispute between Quebec and Newfoundland.
Quebec was just furious, and they refused to recognize it. they never accepted the ruling. When Newfoundland and Labrador joined Canada in 1949, in the terms of union, it said that our borders' integrity will be enshrined in the Constitution, and it is.
Quebec's version of the map looks something like this, but Labrador's border stretches straight along the 52nd parallel. Even today, Quebec still refuses to recognize the border, evident not just on the Elections Quebec website, but also in the media coverage last night.
It was kind of upsetting, too, that the media agencies and the things see these notes on these maps, and they still choose to go the Quebec way. But now in the federal election, everything's correct.
Many, including Brown, were quick to point this out on Twitter. It's an issue that's been going on for nearly a century that's still a sore spot for many.
It doesn't seem right. I mean, this is Labrador. It's not Quebec. It shouldn't be part of Quebec's map. I think there should be something done about it.
Well, that's something they're going to have to get used to and swallow the pill. It was done by the Privy Council, settled.
They're just being their regular selves. I don't think we should even worry about it. If it's down in, if the papers are in the right place, that's what counts.
The Elections Quebec map denotes but doesn't recognize the Privy Council's boundary. They said any public institution, even independent ones such as themselves, will include this territory on their maps, and pointed us towards a Quebec government website which states pretty clearly that the government of Quebec never formally recognized the border. An unwelcome decision for many here who want to see a new map come 2022. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Well, a Canadian scientist is now the third woman ever to win the Nobel Prize in Physics. Donna Strickland says she was surprised to get a call from Sweden at 4:58 in the morning and feels overwhelmed by the honor.
Was it ever a lifelong goal to win the Nobel Prize?
No. No. Why? No. I mean, obviously, very few people win the Nobel Prize, so why would you want to waste too much time thinking about that? No. Obviously, I'm thrilled to win it. I'm not saying that it isn't an absolute thrill to win it, but certainly it never entered my mind that I would.
A professor at the University of Waterloo, Strickland and her French colleague won together, along with a third American scientist, for their groundbreaking work on lasers. The broadest application of Strickland's research includes laser eye surgery.
The province is pushing to make it easier for victims of sexual assault to come forward with their stories. I'm Ryan Cook, and I'll have the details coming up.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary introduced a new recruit today.
Yes, it's the newest four-legged member of the Police Dog Services Unit. Her name is Dally. Dally is a purebred German Shepherd and the first female dog to join the unit. She was donated by Jim Hines, an avid dog lover who became involved with the RNC after winning $2 million in the lottery in 2015.
Meanwhile, Dally's new handler, Constable MacDonald, has aspired to be a dog handler most of his life.
We've been on the streets for a month, so we've had some success, located some evidence, and tracked a few people and things along those lines. We've had some success already, but just like myself, this is much like coming out of police training for me, and just like for her, you don't come out of training as a police officer, and you don't come out of police dog training as a police dog handler, as a police dog. Her training goes on for the rest of her career, as does mine. She's what we call a general duty dog. She can track vulnerable persons or wanted suspects, things along those lines, search for evidence, search for guns, search for people in buildings, things along those lines. But we can also, when she's finished another 3 weeks, we can do explosives. She'll be an explosive detection dog. As a female dog, they're fairly rare. Traditionally, male dogs were picked because they believed they had a higher drive and that they were more aggressive, and they were also bigger, so they were a little bit more scary to bad guys and things along those lines. The females can be a little harder to train. They tend to want to do things for us as opposed to for themselves, whereas a male dog may really have a huge ball drive. For her, it's not so much about the ball as it is about me playing with her. So that energy level and that sort of thing, once we can harness it as she gets a little older, is exactly what we're looking for in a police dog. She has that drive and that energy, and that once she progresses and she matures, that personality will turn into a very good police dog.
Dally is beautiful.
Oh, beautiful dog. It looks like she's having fun too.
Well, speaking of nice things, it was a pretty nice day in St. John's, and I understand across much of the province.
Yes, so if you don't already feel grateful for the good weather here, you probably will after seeing this. Just have a look.
I have to walk to school in this, so yeah.
I came out at 7 and there was a bus stuck there, and he was stuck for a good 45 minutes.
I actually love the snow, so I don't mind it. It's just really bad for the traffic, so I feel bad.
Yeah, Calgary and southern parts of Alberta were under a snowfall warning. It was the first snowfall of the season. 25 centimeters fell overnight, and with reports of more than 100 accidents by midday, wait times for a tow truck was 10 hours.
Oh my gosh, people were in shock, except for the young ones who love to play anyway. Drivers are being urged to stay home, and Carolyn, please don't tell us that we have to deal with anything like that anytime soon.
There is nothing like that in the forecast for the next week or so, so no. Actually, we're in for some more nice weather here in the east. A few flurries to start the morning for western Labrador. Let's have a look now at the highs today. Some decent temperatures on the island. 10 degrees in St. John's, 11 in Deer Lake, 2 degrees in Labrador City. So it is very chilly in that neck of the woods for sure. Overnight tonight, you can see mainly clear skies. Not much happening on the island. Not much happening in Labrador. A few flurries, though, possible for the northern part of Labrador, the Nain area, but that's really the only kind of weather that we're looking at in the overnight hours tonight. So some chilly temperatures on the island, very light winds, definitely a chance of some frost there, a northeasterly wind gusting to 10 kilometers an hour. So temperatures right kind of just above the freezing mark there. -1 in Lab City tonight. Going to feel cooler there with the wind chill for sure. So as we head into tomorrow, Lab West, you can see some showers that are pushing through there, and rather some flurries that are pushing through for Lab West tomorrow morning, and some showers that will hit the southwestern portion of the island tomorrow afternoon. I'll get this right in a moment. So as we move ahead in the daytime, you can see we're at 3 o'clock And this is where the rain is just kind of starting in the southwestern part of the island, and some showers for Labrador. So beginning the day with some flurries and then changing into some showers later in the daytime. But the east is looking quite nice, and central as well. We're looking at some sunshine tomorrow, very similar to today, 10 degrees in St. John's as the high, slightly warmer as you head into central with lots of sunshine, and 12 degrees and some light winds as well as we head into the western coast of the island. We're looking at about 5 millimeters of rain late in the afternoon for the Porter Basque area, and it's going to be kind of windy down there as well in the Rec House area. We're looking at gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour, so a chance of showers for the rest of the west. As we head into the Straits, pretty calm there as well. A chance of some showers for the Cartwright area, but mostly sun and cloud in the Straits, and southwesterly winds 20 gusting to 40. For the rest of Labrador, we have a chance of some showers mixed with some flurries for the Nain and Makovic area, as well as those morning flurries for Lab West, changing into some showers in the Happy Valley Goose Bay area in the afternoon. 10 degrees as the high there. So we do have a little bit of weather on the way on Thursday and Thursday night, some rain and some wind to tell you about. So I'll get to that a little bit later. Debbie?
Thanks, Carolyn. For victims of sexual assault, the potential fallout from coming forward keeps many silent. The province's Committee on Violence Against Women and Girls wants to make the reporting process easier. It's come out with a new progress report. Here now's Ryan Cook's been following this story. Ryan, what kind of changes are we talking about?
Well, as a man, it's something I'll likely never have to worry about, being sexually assaulted after a night downtown. But for women, this report is all about what happens next. What happens when you don't want your name or your story to go public.
You could just talk to one person.
Sarah Walsh had to change addresses after coming forward with allegations of sexual assault. She got threats to her social media pages and then letters in her mailbox.
If you consider any public article that you've read in the news about an assault victim, and there's all these terrible things that people are writing on the sides, and that's one thing, but when you know that person's name, it somehow opens a whole other horrific door to just grant access to all sorts of online abuse, or, you know, even, like I said, handwritten letters.
Less than 10% of sexual assault victims report to police, but soon that may not be their only option. The province is eyeing a third-party reporting system, which would see community groups take statements and pass them on to police anonymously.
It's about that sense of having the power to have told your story, know it's been reported, yet not have to feel that in order to do so, you have to lay charges, because, as we know, many survivors are not prepared to do that. And for some, it takes a very long time before, if they're ever prepared to come forward and report.
The program is in conjunction with sexual assault nurses and different programs that would verify things that they need to. So I do think that it would ultimately help, especially if you're talking about somebody that for personal reasons or because of safety reasons don't want to be named.
The RNC have told CBC News they are totally on board with this pilot project, and the idea actually came from the RCMP's former assistant commissioner. Now, even if charges aren't laid, more reporting can help police track people accused of sex crimes, and more reporting can also lead to identifying repeat offenders, helping keep these streets a little safer for everybody. Reporting live for Here Now in St. John's, I'm Ryan Cook.
And remember, you can watch Here and Now while on the go. We're broadcasting live on YouTube. You can also catch past episodes on demand. Just go to YouTube and subscribe to CBC NL.
When the CEO now has gone from saying this was a boondoggle to now saying he's very proud of the project, anyone who had a mega project like this would be proud of it, I think he's seen the light. I think he's come around.
From critic to supporter, Williams talks Dan Marshall and has some advice for Muskrat Falls critics. That's coming up. Has Dan Marshall seen the light? Former Premier Danny Williams thinks Marshall's had a change of heart about Muskrat Falls. This after the CEO of Nalcor Energy previously referred to the mega project as a boondoggle. Williams spoke to reporters today following his testimony at the Muskrat Falls inquiry in St. John's. And he talked about naysayers and constructive criticism.
There's lots of areas where, virtually every government department has looked at this project. And as well, Nalcor is a Crown corporation. Nalcor is owned by the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. Nalcor is an extension, it's an arm of government. So, this has gotten lots of scrutiny. So I'm quite comfortable with that.
How do you think your testimony went overall?
I'm delighted. I'm delighted to have an opportunity to tell it the way it is and to get out and to answer some of the criticisms. And I've said, constructive criticism is good. And it's important that the people of the province really get to know all the facts behind this and the other side of the facts, because I can't be out every day trying to deal with every single criticism of this project, nor do I have all the information available to me that I would have had if I was in government. But when the CEO now has gone from saying this was a boondoggle to now saying that this is a good project, we'll have the lowest rates in the country, possibly in North America. He's very proud of the project. Anyone who had a mega project like this would be proud of it. I think he's seen the light. I think he's come around, and I watched him when he did the tour and clips that I saw, and he seemed to be very proud of it, and so he should be, because there's a lot of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians that have put a lot of good, hard work into this project.
You faced questions about people like David Vardy and Ron Penny. Mr. Vardy said that he felt obligated to speak out about the project. Do you believe that if people have a concern about the project, they should speak out about it?
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing I said on the stand there today is that constructive criticism is a good thing. Destructive criticism isn't. But if you're going to get in and point out things that should be looked at and can make that project better, that is good. However, they've taken it to another level, and the coalition, and Mr. Vardy and Mr. Penny, as I've stated before, have taken it to a different level, and the blogger Sullivan has basically done the same kind of thing. So, from that perspective, stay with the facts that I would recommend to them, and lay out your arguments on a good sound basis, but don't get into personality attacks.
Do you think that it's valuable to have an inquiry while the project is still being built, or would it be better if they did this after?
Well, the one thing I don't want to do is come out of testimony today and then say there shouldn't be an inquiry. So, the inquiry has been called. It's been, as I said at the end of it, it's been very well done. The commissioner has been extremely thorough. He's got a great staff. He's gone through millions of documents, which I can't even understand how he can deal with it, but they've done a good job of doing it. The sad thing is he's subject to when the inquiry was called. The inquiry should have been called, if at all, much later, and the project is still not completed. We're taking a snapshot in 2018, when 2028 probably would be better. But by the same token, it's kind of unfair when you're kind of still at the tail end of the project and it hasn't even started to produce power yet to assess. But I don't attribute that to the commission. That's basically a choice that was made to call this at a particular point in time.
And that was former Premier Danny Williams speaking with reporters after 2 days of testimony at the inquiry. Well, as you heard earlier in the show, it's a new era in Quebec politics. Voters have elected a new party into power, and for the first time since 1966, it's not the Liberals or the Parti Québécois. Jayla Bernstein reports.
The next question for Quebecers really is, what does a Coalition Avenir Québec government look like, and what does it mean for change in this province over the course of the next 4 years? This is the first time the CAQ has formed government, and it's a relatively new party. It was only co-founded back in 2011 by François Legault. We know that the new government will be a bit right of center. Legault today, after a victorious evening, told Quebecers that he's a pragmatic guy. He said really his top priorities will be education, healthcare, and the economy. At the same time, we know that he does have some controversial proposals. He wants to reform immigration, reduce temporarily the number of immigrants who come into this province each year. We also know that he wants to restrict who in Quebec is allowed to wear religious symbols.
I think that the vast majority of Quebecers, they would like to have a framework where we say people in an authority position, they must not wear religious signs. And if we have to use the notwithstanding clause to apply what wants the majority of Quebecers, will do so.
That can be expected to be a polarizing issue, especially in the province's more diverse communities, such as the city of Montreal. At the same time, Legault today said that whether or not people voted for him, he promises to work for all Quebecers. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Quebec City.
To Winnipeg now, where a man with cancer is tracing his health battle back to the schoolyard. Recent tests found an alarming level of lead in the 63-year-old's blood, and that has him retracing his steps. The CBC's Marianne Cloak has more.
63-year-old Pat Werstiek surveys his old stomping grounds. He grew up in this house on Gallagher in the Weston area.
The garden area used to be right here.
Garden vegetables that made his mother proud, and he loved to eat. Their home was about a block away from a smelter. A provincial report shows as far back as 1976 and 1979, elevated lead levels were found in the blood of some of the children attending Weston School.
You don't see it here now, but there used to be a baseball diamond here.
When Werstiek was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2010, a naturopath advised him to get a blood test for heavy metals. He was shocked by the results. Elevated levels of lead and mercury, so high they were off the chart.
Do I think, in my opinion, yes, I do. I think it can cause cancer. My concern is it's twofold. I mean, I'm concerned, of course, for myself, but I'm concerned right now for all the children in the area. Lead affects children.
Some remedial work was done in the 1980s, which included replacing some soil, laying down cement, and removing lead paint from the school. But earlier this month, Weston School closed its sports field after a report surfaced about elevated lead levels more than a decade ago.
So they took out some soil. But what's been done for the people that were affected? Nothing.
Werstiek claims 2 friends who lived in the area passed away from cancer, both under the age of 60. 2 other friends have kidney cancer. Werstiek has asked the province to fund chelation therapy for him. It claims to rid the body of heavy metals by flushing them out through intravenous. Werstiek says the province denied the request, which he says would have cost about $3,000. The province says it cannot comment on an individual's health information. As for the soil in the sports field that is off limits, it will be retested by the end of October. The results are expected to be released in December. Marianne Cloak, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A note on that story, most provincial health plans pay for lead testing.
Have been led down the garden path by this government in saying that they support what we do as dairy farmers. They have not delivered on that promise.
A new trade deal for dairy farmers, but is it death by 1,000 cuts? That's coming up.
Good morning. Showtime.
Tune in to the St. John's Morning Show with Chrissy Holmes and Fred Hutton. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 9.
Dairy farmers across the country are speaking out against the new trade deal. The newly named USMCA allows for more U.S. milk and dairy products into Canada. And while the federal government is assuring that Canadian farmers will be compensated for any loss, many say that's not what they want. Olivia Stefanovich has the view from Saskatchewan.
Here at a family farm, producers were holding out hope for a fair, renegotiated NAFTA deal. But now they say they feel betrayed.
We have been led down the garden path by this government in saying that they support what we do as dairy farmers and our system of supply management. They have not delivered on that promise. They have thrown us under the bus, literally. That is something we do every
Dairy farmers say they feel like collateral damage. The United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, known as the new NAFTA deal, gives Americans greater access to Canada's dairy market, more than 3%. That means American dairy products will soon show up on store shelves. The head of Saskatchewan's dairy producers says that could spell a $200 million yearly loss for the Canadian industry within 6 years.
Once you start to take that away, then the viability of these dairy operations becomes questionable.
Adding to the uncertainty, a pricing and quota system for industrial milk ingredients will be dismantled. It was created to find a competitive level of milk production and was seen as a solution to Canada's skim milk surplus. Ottawa plans to offer dairy producers compensation, but farmers say they don't want to milk the federal government for money. Instead, they plan to carry their frustration to the polls in the next federal election.
It's going to be significant for them, and it's coming up in not that very long a time.
Unless something can be done to boost the Canadian dairy industry, family farms could be in jeopardy because this and the next generation of farmers will find it harder to compete. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Caronport, Saskatchewan.
It doesn't seem right. I mean, this is Labrador. It's not Quebec. It shouldn't be part of Quebec's map.
They know it's there. They know it's incorrect. They just refuse to recognize it.
Last night's historic election in Quebec also resurfaced an old dispute with our province, the controversy over the Quebec-Labrador border. It's a debate that goes back decades to 1927, when a decision was made by a British Privy Council to settle the land dispute between Quebec and Newfoundland. Now, earlier, Jacob Barker brought us the reaction from Labrador. So where does this boundary dispute come from? 20 years ago, former CBC reporter and producer Doug Leto put together this historical look.
A line drawn due north from the eastern boundary of the bay or harbour of Anse-au-Sablon as far as the 52nd degree of north latitude, and from thence westward.
After 13 days of arguing the boundary case before 5 justices of the Privy Council in London, the Newfoundland position was upheld. The boundary disputes grew out of the 7 Years' War in the 1700s between Britain and France. Britain won the war, and the French gave up their lands in North America, including their claim to Labrador. Labrador was put under the control of the governor of Newfoundland. Still, the jostling between Newfoundland and Quebec continued. The Hudson's Bay Company had established trading posts in the region, including one at Northwest River, Labrador. Quebec's premiers, including Sir Lome Goyen, had become increasingly irritated and frustrated about Labrador. In 1898, Quebec persuaded Canada to act. Without even bothering to consult Newfoundland, Canada extended Quebec's boundaries into the center of Labrador. Canada's action and a dispute over a logging license in Labrador brought matters to a head. Quebec and Newfoundland decided to have the Privy Council in London make a final decision. Sir John Simon, a British barrister and Member of Parliament, argued Newfoundland's case. Over 13 days of hearings, he persuaded the justices to accept the full Newfoundland position. Although Quebec complains from time to time it has never accepted the verdict on the boundary, its own commission concluded otherwise.
This was examined by the Dorion Commission between 1959 and 1961, which concluded that really Quebec had no grounds now to reopen the case. That, in fact, they had accepted the judgment of 1927. There had been no protest at the time, and that in their behavior they had really behaved as though the boundary existed. And of course the boundary was passed into law when Newfoundland joined Confederation in 1949, because those acts stipulate that the sort of boundary is the boundary as was drawn by the Privy Council.
Well, here's a live look of St. John's Harbor. Looks a little bit gray out there at the moment, but it was a nice day today.
It was, and the calmness continues a couple of days at least now.
Yes.
It's lovely.
I'll have the full weather forecast after the break.
Land and Sea returns with a brand new season, beginning Sunday, October 14th. That's at noon on the island, 11:30 in most of Labrador.
Welcome back once again. We've been talking about the pretty good weather, but it really is getting very cold overnight, isn't it?
It is very chilly, and it's going to be another chilly night tonight. And I guess you could say from pretty much from now on, it's going to be pretty chilly. But some decent temperatures during the day. We're still making it into the double digits. Let's have a look at some current temperatures for the province right now. 6 degrees in St. John's, 11 in St. Lawrence right now. Labrador City looking at a very cool night tonight with some flurries moving in tomorrow morning. But for the island tonight, things are looking calm, they're looking clear, and they're looking cool. And here are those flurries moving in first thing tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So it's going to be a little little bit messy, but that quickly changes over to some scattered showers for Lab West and continues to move eastward to Happy Valley Goose Bay. So a little bit of a mix of showers and flurries there in the afternoon. And here's another system coming up through that's going to affect the island late in the day. Here we are at 7 p.m. So it's going to be a pretty late shower system coming through. So looking at a fairly windy day for the Port aux Basques area, the Wreck House area, wind gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour there tomorrow. But the rest of the island looking quite nice. St. John's 10 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Tomorrow some sunshine for central areas. A chance of some showers in the afternoon for Corner Brook and some light southwesterly winds as we head into Labrador. A chance of some showers for the Cartwright area. A little bit of a messy mix expected there for the Nain area with a few showers and some flurries. And there are those flurries for Lab City in the morning. So as we head into Thursday morning, we have a bit more weather on the way. Some rain for most of Labrador is going to be affected by this. For the island, you can see some cloud cover there, some showers there on the southwest coast. So it's going to start to get a bit windy as well in Labrador on Thursday. So pretty much the whole day you're looking at those showers. For the east, though, we're looking at a decent day, 15 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud there, a chance of showers for central areas and showers for the west coast and that increasing wind as we get into Thursday night. And for Labrador, cool temperatures in the west, 8 degrees as the high there. So some rain and increasing wind as well. And same story there for eastern Labrador, 14 degrees as the high there. So as we head into Thursday night and Friday, that rain starts to push off the west coast being affected by this overnight Thursday. So early Friday morning, here we are 3 a.m., some showers there along the west and southwest coast, clearing for Labrador in the morning and some cloud cover for the east and some showers for central to start Friday there. But then things start to clear off. Chance of showers for the Avalon Peninsula and the east, but look at those temperatures, 19 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit windy, but the temperatures are going to bump up a bit there, and some showers for central areas, 16, so not too bad as we head into the weekend. Chance of showers for the west coast, 11 degrees as the high there, and it's going to stay pretty windy there for Lab West with some sunny breaks and just barely above the freezing mark there. So the 5-day forecast, Saturday looking pretty good for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland, 10 degrees as the high with a mix of sun and cloud, then a chance of some showers moving in on Sunday. So yeah, if you're in central as well, if you're making any early plans for the weekend, it's looking right now that Saturday might be your best bet with a mix of sun and cloud there as well. And a similar story for the west coast of the island with some showers moving in on Sunday. So decent weekend coming for eastern Labrador, lots of sunshine to enjoy there with some cooler temperatures. Just make sure if you bundle up if you head out, and some cloudy skies for western Labrador and very, very chilly overnight lows there for sure. And that's your forecast. Debbie, back to you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Skateboarders in Whitehorse have found an unlikely ally, a 99-year-old woman they're calling the grandmother of the skate park. She's become their biggest fan as they fight City Hall for better facilities. CBC's Dave Croft has the story.
99-year-old Amanda Rendell has been picking up litter at the Riverdale Skateboard Park for almost 20 years. She says she had noticed on her daily walk that the area around the park was getting messy. Rendell says she was ashamed that would happen in Whitehorse.
I decided one day I was going to come over and do something about it. I came over with my rubber gloves on and I started picking up garbage here and there, and the boys would look at me, and pretty soon they got used to me. So they called me the grandmother of the skateboard park.
Rendell told me how the volunteer work gets her out every day for some fresh air and the company of others. Teenager Talent Deschamps says he had first noticed Rendell at the park when he was about 8.
Everybody loves her. She just, cleans up the park. She talks, you have a conversation with her or whatever, and yeah.
Rendell says the boys, as she always calls them, have always shown her respect.
recognizing her over the years with barbecues, bouquets of flowers, and a painted portrait of her in the park's bowl.
When I first started, some of the boys would say to me, if anybody bothers you, you just come to me and let me know. Not one of them ever did. So I felt quite comfortable here.
Rendell says she supports the skateboarders' efforts to replace the park with a new facility. The old one is run down and has safety issues. She says the boys deserve a new one. Dave Croft, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Here's a look at today's viewer photo of the day. This is an interesting one. Some contrasting conditions there. Sunshine on the right, some cloud cover on the left, and even a rainbow thrown in for good measure.
It has just about everything.
It does. I'll let you know where in the province this was taken after the break.
Well, get this, a town in Nova Scotia with a population of 1,000 had 30,000 visitors this past weekend.
And here's why.
Mahone Bay's 22nd annual Scarecrow Festival had its biggest turnout. It was originally created to bring in visitors during the end of the tourist season and features a slew of different attractions.
Wow, 30,000 people though. Those scarecrows stay in place, keeping watch until Thanksgiving.
They're fantastic. Yeah. That's a lot of work. No wonder it attracts a lot of people.
Keeping the crows away. Well, let's have a look at our viewer photo of the day. I thought this was such an interesting one with that rainbow there on the left. Just a very, very interesting shot. This was taken in Embry by Lewisport.
I've never been out that way. I'm ashamed to say. It looks beautiful.
It does. Thank you so much, Brittany Robinson, for sending this in. And if you have a photo you'd like to see on the news, please email it to us at nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Well, we're getting near the end of the program, but interested in looking at your forecast, Carolyn, because it is the long Thanksgiving Day weekend. A lot of people making plans. We have at this point, one day good on the weekend, but tomorrow we get to see Monday as well, so
yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Be a lot of people taking advantage of getting out of town.
And the turkey.
And the turkey. Absolutely. Thanks for being with us, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Good night.